right, this is it. Welcome to the 47th episode of the Vibe Union podcast. Today we are joined by Mono the Messenger, a man of not only many messengers, but many actions and a lot of movement in the hip-hop scene. So thank you so much today for joining us on the 42nd episode.
Thank you for having me, bro. Appreciate it.
Cool. This has potentially been long overdue, but with like most guests, many people are worthwhile in the scene to have on and talk to. So before we get down to it, whatever this will be, it's good to acknowledge, the sacred ground that we're on. So we are recording and producing this podcast on the lands where the traditional custodians of this land are a combination of the Boonwurrung people and the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation. So I'd just like to acknowledge elders past, present and emerging. Acknowledge that these people were the traditional custodians of this land, not owners, right? Huge difference. So they are tending to the land, not keeping it.
Even though we do say owners when we do the acknowledgement speech, you know what I mean?
Some people do, but yeah, you can say custodians instead of owners. But yeah, some people are like owners either way. Also, just to acknowledge that sovereignty was never ceded and history was deleted.
So I find it important as well to when I was young, know people like Morganics and that.
Yeah.
So Morganics made a point of doing the acknowledgement before the Can I Kick It's and the shows that he was doing, and in that inspired me to do the same as well, because I do find the land that we're on a very special, sacred land. Even though there's a lot about it that I don't understand and not sure, and I don't know how much knowledge is actually being passed down as well. In the terms of getting people to be aware of it. It's not like we do it much at school and stuff, so now it's nice. At the beginning I definitely like to do that, and I feel that a lot of people, especially in Melbourne, are very receptive to that energy. And,
yes,
yeah, for
sure. It seems like a tradition that is emerging and will be passed on for the benefit of I guess Australian culture as opposed to Indigenous culture, in the sense of there is a lot that's been lost, and just acknowledging, some baseline what was kind of helps people operate and having conversations around it. And even though somebody like yourself or me might feel a little bit of out of depth of like, what are we acknowledging? What are the stories of these people? How did they operate? Like, through school, as you were saying, like we didn't really do acknowledgements. We maybe didn't learn so much through that, but yeah, it is good to hear that you've like passed on or taken the baton of like Morganics, who's within the hip hop, open mic or freestyle cipher community, has been like, this is something that's important to be brought up often. So yeah, I love the fact that you bring that on to the dojo, and I imagine other shows and stuff that you host.
To be honest, the dojo has been the first, as I've been like growing up and maturing and making different decisions about how I want to approach my events and what energy I want to bring overall, what experience I want to create.
Yeah.
I definitely want to, when it comes to the events that I run, which I'll do more than just the dojo in the future, I intend on creating a real wholesome spiritual experience. And what I mean by that is something for people to walk away with and take something from the event that they can implement in their lives, no matter what that is, you know what I mean? So
yeah,
it's more than just having fun and having a good time. That's
right.
For sure.
It sets a, you don't have to say spiritual, but it sets a particular context for the event where people are like, okay, this isn't just about me, for me. There's kind of, there's something bigger at play here, whether you just want to like frame that as community or like...
That's kind of why I put the word spiritual in there,
Yeah.
What I mean? Like bigger than ourselves.
Yeah, exactly.
This oneness, you know what I mean? So...
And I almost feel like that works really well in the freestyle space, because it is all about that high connectivity, right? When it comes to getting on the mic, opening up, connecting the dots and thinking on the fly.
For sure. And also a massive part of this community as well. Like the idea that, someone can come on stage for the very first time at the dojo hip hop open mic night, and regardless of where they are talent-wise, the crowd and the people here are so supportive and get real hyped up from the fact that they're actually just there giving it a shot and actually so the community is supporting them to be a better version of themselves, so to speak, because like the more time you put into something, the better you're going to get at it. And so if a lot of people can be discouraged thinking that the crowd's not going to like what they're doing, or to get discouraged that maybe, you know, they don't have what it takes, whatever, and it takes it, and our community has shown, and that with the support of the community, it gives people that little bit of extra room to grow, and without fear and just kind of without doubt and stuff. You know what I mean? I've had so many people that have just like, you know, told me they're so nervous and didn't want to get on stage, whatever it is, but the crowd and everyone involved was just the community was just so supportive in getting them there, that they had an incredible time and actually feel like they grow in those moments and can take that to the future.
Right.
Don't mean to sound vague, but yeah.
No, that wasn't vague at all. I feel like that was actually quite precise in the sense of, do you feel like in previous open mic ciphers, like freestyle type nights, that kind of energy isn't always set up in that same way, right? That's something that you've probably noticed over time and been a lot more aware about, and now you're making this real conscious decision to implement it into your nights, and hopefully with the result in mind that people are going to feel more encouraged to participate at whatever level.
Well, to be honest with you, I actually haven't really experienced open mic nights in Melbourne, hip-hop open mic nights where we weren't encouraging. So
Right, yeah, cool.
I've been to a lot, and when I was 17, I ran my first open mic night at a place called Lost in St Kilda.
Right.
Barclay Street. And, you know, it was just one of my real good mates, Esky, who... Patrick Holmes, who started that open mic night in St Kilda, and then when I was 17 passed it on to me, and was like, yo, you know, you want to start running this? And I started doing that, and I felt like I was 17, I don't really know how good I was at the time, so I felt like the community of people watching me perform was really like, instead of focusing on the bad things, were focusing on the good things, that I was, in fact, I was there just doing it. Because like I've seen videos, man, like it's pretty. For me to like, you know, continue being encouraged to continue doing my art, I've needed the community around me to you know, be my mirror in a way and show me that I can, you know, tell me what they like about it, tell me that they like it, tell me if they feel it. And then from there I went to Can I Kick It? And I just felt like at first I was 17 at the time, wasn't allowed in the bars, very standoffish in a sense, and then slowly but surely felt accepted, and if, no matter what level I'm on, whatever it is, and I felt like we gave that to a lot of people at Can I Kick It as well.
Yeah.
We also, so within that vibe, you know, we also had the alleyway cipher. So it was this, my experience of hip hop open mic nights has been very like underground, has been very real, been very raw, but also extraordinarily inclusive. And
so from the get-go, you're saying, wow. Because I mean, for those who are outside of maybe not the hip-hop community, but maybe going inside of like those like freestyle cipher nights, I mean, I know just from my perception before going to Can I Kick It, for example, was like I would have expected people to be kind of hard to win over, and maybe a little bit staunch, and maybe a little bit, you know,
I believe there's always those people there. At the same time, I feel like there was always us there too. The ones that, for me personally, like I listen to people rap in such a way where I kind of forget like what level they're at. I used to be, you know, a little bit more judgmental than I am in the terms of skill and where a person's at. But now, like I feel like I can strip away all that and see where they're at and where they're going with that. It's kind of hard to explain, but it's like when someone's doing a lot more simple rhyme schemes that I'm doing, like I'm not looking for necessarily how clever their rhyme schemes are. I'm looking for their like, it's almost like a consistency on that, like how
they're riding the moment.
Riding the moment, keeping it consistent, how they're going, connecting the words, and just like saying what they need to say.
Right.
Thing.
So you're looking for that just openness, really.
Yeah, and even when someone's fucking up, like to me, I'm like, they're like, nah. I remember this one dude, Jake, on stage. He was like, nah. So I grabbed the mic. I was like, yeah. He's like, yeah. I was like, yeah. And he just kept going, and then he built himself back up. And for me, that gave me a lot of like, that makes me feel good, you know, when people are like, they believe in themselves. What it takes to freestyle, if you're actually going to freestyle proper, for me, there are times I'm freestyling for 4 hours, and so it's like sometimes my mind goes blank and I'm like, oh, what I'm going to say, but I'm like, I don't panic. I just go, do you know what? I trust myself that by the time I have to hit that word, I'm going to hit that word. And then my brain just does this with a little bit of self-confidence, a little bit of self-belief.
Right.
I'm able to go over that little speed bump of doubt or whatever it is and travel on to the next thing. And people love when people can see when you don't, or when you fuck up or whatever, you don't let yourself down and be like, oh, damn, I messed up. I shouldn't have done that. It's like, no, you messed up. Learn from that. Keep going. And just keep that flow, because that's what we're all riding. We're all riding a flow. So.
And people are like, I guess what you're saying is like, within the audience, people are kind of backing you regardless, because this context or scenario has been set up where it's like,
it's the dojo, my brother.
Yeah.
It's like a place to practice and get better at your skill and your art. So like now, like being the dojo, it actually being designed for that. It's not actually just an open mic night which has that element to it.
It's not a showcase.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's also not like one where it's a hip hop open mic night and it just turns out that it's supportive because the hip hop community is supportive. It's like, no, the way I've designed this place, especially with the name, the dojo, is so that this is a place of practice. This is where you get better. This is where you hone in on your skills, no matter what level you're at.
Right.
And then we've seen that. We know we've seen that.
Absolutely. All right. So can you take us? So two things. One, can you kind of just explain your entry into hip hop and what kind of like got you there in the first place?
Yeah, for sure.
And then after that, I'd love to talk about the transition for you from like, can I kick it, to the dojo?
Yeah, easy.
Cool.
So for me personally, I was a drummer before I was a rapper.
Yeah.
And so I reckon I started playing drums. Thank you, Raf.
Cheers, Rath.
I am just gonna have a sip of my lemonade.
Please.
So when I was young, my parents would catch me banging on the dinner table and things like that with the forks and knives. They'd catch me grab sticks in the playground in a park playground, and instead of playing on the playground, I'd be tapping the metal poles and things like this.
Yeah.
They were one time they took me to I think it was a dinner or some sort of Jewish celebration, because I'm a Jew.
Yeah.
And during that celebration, they had this Middle East, I forgot what it's called, but there's this Middle Eastern drum that they had, and I started tapping on it, and it turns out right next to me was a family friend, and he was a drummer, and he said to my mum and my dad that I needed to get, I'm pretty sure it was my mum, that I need to get lessons straight away.
Hey.
And so then...
You were 15, 16 at this point? How old?
No, I was 6 or 7.
Oh, no shit. So right from the get-go, pretty much.
So maybe I could have even been 5, because I remember, I think it was my 6th or 7th birthday or 8th birthday, something like that. Don't really remember. I think it was 6 or 7. Could have been younger. My mum would tell you. My grandmother bought me my first bongo kind of things, and then from there, started tapping away, and then started using sticks to hit those as well. So I was definitely into percussion, but at the same time, I was more focused on having some sticks in my hand. From there, when I was about maybe 8, something like that, my parents got me drum lessons. By the time I was 9, they got me my first second-hand drum set. From Caulfield Community Store, which is made out of, it's vintage, made out of wood, and so you can't really get those anymore. The ones that you can just tell, and it's nice pearl drum set.
You still got that?
I still got that to this day, for sure.
Yeah.
And then so from there, started doing drums, and I was just not to boast, but just to all my teachers and to the people I was playing with, I was known to be really good for my time. So me and my dad would take me busking on the streets of St Kilda, take me busking on the streets of the city, the art centre and stuff. Not even kidding. I would make, this one time I remember making $380 in an hour and a half.
Whoa.
And one time I made $70 in half an hour and just beat some bits and bobs. So then from there,
that's mad.
Stopped doing it with my dad and just started doing it with my friends on the streets and just having fun with it. And should we continue? Just keep going?
You're all good. Yeah, no, absolutely. We're good.
Beautiful. And so from there, my dad would take me to drum tech things and these workshops for drums. And I was really into it. But then when I was in school, I had a maths tutor kind of thing,
Yeah.
And in the maths tutor, the woman that was teaching me, who was actually probably year 11 at the time in the girls' version of the school that I went to, and she was like, oh, have you heard this before? And I was rap, I didn't know what it was. Yeah, she chucked on Eminem, Brain Damage. I reckon I would have been 11 years old.
Wow, there you go.
Yeah, man, chucked on Brain Damage. I still remember the verse, I remember the whole song, And I heard that and I was blown away. I remember being blown away, and I don't remember what it was, but from then on out, I was rapping. I was literally writing raps from then.
How do you think she knew that would be a big deal for you?
Who knows?
Who knows? That's amazing.
Yeah, and then from there, Bart.
So that really unlocked the world of rap.
Yeah, but from there, I just started freestyling, started rapping. I started handing in my essays as rap. My teachers would let me when people had to read out their English essays, I'd get my mates in Jewish school proper religious Orthodox Jewish school.
Yeah.
To, like beatbox for me.
Wow.
And I'll be rapping out like about certain topics, and they said it was acceptable because like I was taking in the information and putting it out in a way that shows I understood it. But also made it fun for the rest of the class at the same time.
Yeah, and I guess it also gave you the capacity to express it in the way that you wanted to, therefore, like, be more committed to it and, like, take it real serious.
For sure, but of course, so it was only a special type of teacher that would let me do that. It's not like every class in every school, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so from there, years go on, I'm just doing it because I love it. It's the only time that makes, like, you know, I feel like I can fly, feel free when I'm freestyling. Just getting better and better and better without really knowing it, making a bit of a name. Like, oh, yeah, it's a kid that freestyles. Like, oh, yeah, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And then from there, I went to a community school called Lionel Hall Community. And in there, it was the first time I think I probably had a proper interactions with recording and creating music.
Yep.
And that's when Motley, who's actually coming in next dojo, he was my mentor, first dude I ever rapped on, like recorded to. He recorded me for the first time, and every Tuesday he would come and he would teach us how to rap, and he would go through a workshop with us at my school called Lionel Hall Community in Richmond.
Wow, that's so lucky to have somebody like Motley as your initial mentor in the field, because somebody who is conscious, real, cares, is about the community, is about like seeing people like flourish and grow. Like that's a powerful person to have kind of in your court. Most
definitely. And then I moved on from there. Like you know, there was this social worker that I had at the time. I had a bit of a troubled life here, whatever.
Yeah.
But I had a social worker at the time that introduced me to another program called Dig Deep, and this program is actually run by a dude named Mantra.
Yep.
And it probably still is. I haven't really checked.
Yeah.
And this dude named Momo from Diaphrix.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
No, you're right. I do remember those names. I didn't go to Dig Deep myself, but I knew a few people who went, like Nettie, Gabs Coley.
Yeah.
All those peeps. Yeah.
100%, you know? And like that, Dig Deep is where Kate was from as well.
True.
Kate has smashed it, absolutely smashed it.
Yeah, superstar now,
Yeah, legit.
Yeah,
mad. But I remember, having sessions with her and Gabs and everyone else involved in there, and that was incredible because that took it to the next level. That every I think it was a Tuesday or Wednesday or something like that. We'd go there and we'd meet heaps of other artists that were our age, that were in similar situations, and really grew. And like they had a studio in there, they had a stage in there, they had this like setup where they had like I think 20 or more at one point computers with all microphones and MIDI keyboards and headphones and everything set up in there. So if you wanted to come, and they had like producers who would make the beats for the people to rap. It was just like it was hip hop heaven.
Yeah, and it removed like this financial barrier for everyone as well.
100%.
They just get access to it.
100%.
Hit the ground running.
Like so that's when you're young, you had pretty young people there. For me personally as well, I was there for a bit, but also like never necessarily stepping in a professional studio booth before. And like they do set it up professional, like, you know what I mean? And to give you that kind of feel.
Yeah.
And so from there, it just kept growing, and I kept running our open mic nights, and it just kept kept getting different opportunities to do my thing, kept believing in myself more. And now I'm at the point now where I'm running my own open mic night at Blue Bar with the DJs that took me on when I was 17, DJ Daily and DJ Detective. And now I'm taking them on and be like, yo, shall we do this?
Wow, that's so cool that it's kind of gone full 360, like full circle with that.
Yeah, proper.
So we've come to the topic of the dojo, and right now we're recording at Blue Bar, which is where the dojo goes down. So,
what's up, Ronnie?
Sub Ronnie, big ups. Thanks for letting us record up here. You know, we're in the, I guess, almost VIP section up here at the moment, upstairs. So, yeah, talk us about, like, the period where you kind of took over hosting with Can I Kick It, and then that tying up and then moving into the dojo.
Yeah, easy. So when we were doing Can I Kick It, it became my home when we were at a place called Horse Bazaar, and we smashed it there, and we had like this alleyway where we'd have really raw alleyway ciphers there as well. From there, we left Horse Bazaar and we went to Grumpy's on Smith Street up until pretty much the point where Grumpy's actually closed down. And I remember going to that massive party, go-away party. It was bloody amazing.
Huge.
So from there, I remember DJ Daily and DJ Detective having a meeting with me before or after the event. I'm pretty sure it was before.
And they'd be with, how long had they been with Can I Kick It?
5 years.
5 years.
So I was with them for 2.
Yeah.
I was there the whole time for 5 years.
Yep.
Just going 3 years as a punter.
Yeah.
And just smashing it. And on the 3rd year, DJ Daly was like, yo, would you like to start hosting this and be the host of this place? And I was like, 100%.
Hey.
Took that on.
Who did you take the reins from? Was it Texter?
It was Techstar.
Yeah.
It was definitely Techstar.
Cool.
You know what I mean?
Shout outs.
And also, they also did this weird rotation thing as well, where they they had Violet, Fresh Violet, they had Techstar, they had
True.
Organics, and I'm pretty sure they might have had Elf Transporter at one point.
And Tom
Tom Kwan was
Tom
there
Kwan.
when I actually started there. So
Okay.
I went there. So he was there for a good... He started it,
Yeah.
a good few years. So if I'm not mistaken, we were there for 5 years at Can I Kick It?
Yeah.
And then at the end of the 5 years, which is the end of the 2 years that I was actually hosting, DJ Daily and DJ Detective, it kind of got to the point where we were kind of sick and tired of changing venues and stuff. It got a little bit tiring. And at the same time, in my opinion, it wasn't set up to make money.
Right.
And which means that we weren't getting enough money to actually feel motivated enough by it, or maybe other things that we could put our time to put out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
And in that sense, we kind of DJ Daily came up to me with Detective and was like, "Look, me and Detective are thinking of walking away, but if you want to stay with this, we will stay with you."
Right.
But at the time, I was actually going through a really hard time myself. I was going through a bit of a depression at the time, and still managing to go to the dojo. The Can I Kick It every week. I remember sometimes being so depressed or whatever, and I'd still go and I'd kick it because I knew that that's just where I needed to be.
It was one thing to look forward to in the week, right?
Oh, definitely, man,
Yeah.
definitely. Sometimes it felt, it was a bit of sometimes I felt like...
Bit of a chore.
Yeah, a bit of a drag, but that was only obviously to be expected when you're going through a very hard time.
Right.
So from there, at that point, when he said that to me, I was like, oh, do you know what? I'm also kind of thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm kind of thinking about stepping away myself.
Yeah.
So we all stepped away. Kind of went and did our own thing. I went to make music, doing my thing, blah, blah, blah. And years go past, and I get a call from Ronnie. And Ronnie's like... wanting to know if I want to run my event here, the open mic here.
Out of nowhere?
I noticed that he was actually watching me at different events and stuff.
Right.
I mean, as some people were doing.
I do remember him popping up at Grumpy's and stuff, actually.
Yeah, so there,
yeah.
and also these other ones that popped up. There was one that popped up at I forgot the venue that is in the...
In Footscray? Or you can spit?
No. I forgot what the venue's called.
Okay.
But anyway, at that venue, I noticed him being there and stuff, and he just asked me if I'd be up for something like that. And then I remember getting a call, and then it's funny because as I told him, I was thinking about similar time starting my own open mic night again.
Bam.
And I had a name for it. I was just kind of looking for a venue.
Ah.
So it was perfect timing.
Yeah,
really.
yeah.
And so then we agreed and to do it at Blue Bar and stuff, and he wanted to call it something else, and I was just like, I'm gonna take the reins in this. I know how I want this open mic night to go, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna make sure that it's what I want to call it. It's in my control, so to speak.
Right.
Because it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
And from there, I was like, who would be better to bring on than the DJs that carried me up all the way through to the position that I'm in now. And so I was like, yo, do you want to do it? And they're like, sweet. So DJ Daily and DJ Detective were very happy to come back involved. And DJ Detective even said to me, he's like, yo, it's so nice that we've come to work for you, or we've come to work with you, as opposed to before that full circle we were talking about.
Yeah.
They took me on when I was 17, and now I'm taking them on as the DJs of the event. They were the event organizers and managers at the time,
Right. That's incredible. So, how long has the dojo here been running? And if you had to say 2 or 3 guiding principles of what the dojo is about for people who maybe don't know, let us hear it.
Yeah, easy. So when it comes to the guiding principles of the dojo is one is support. So we're not here to pick out people's flaws. We're not here to boo people off stage. We're not here to discourage people from doing what they love and potentially getting better at it.
Yeah.
So that's one.
Yeah.
In fact, on the contrary, we're here to support so people can grow.
Yeah.
So that's one. Second is be real. No one wants to hear you fucking rap about something you're not about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No one wants to hear someone who's fallen into the misconception of what hip hop actually is about. You know what I mean? And by listening to the trash that's on the radio and everything like this, it's pretty crazy. No one wants to hear scoot scoot. Like, let's be real. Of course, unless it's authentic and done in such a way where it's tasteful, it's kind of hard to explain. You know what I mean? But I've seen you do it here and there. Like, oh, that's tasteful. That's tasteful. So be real. Like if you got something to say. It doesn't matter what level you are, whatever it is, and just
support. Be real.
So be real in the terms of your art and what you're putting out there.
What you're here to say,
and be respectful.
Like,
be extraordinarily respectful. I heard someone say a word I was not impressed by last time as well, so I have to make sure that that doesn't happen again. There are other times as well, like I've been called out on stage by a dude, and I had to tell him, I'm like, bro, if you're going to come with that attitude, you actually can't come back into the dojo, because we don't battle here. We don't actually have that type of energy because it is such a creative space for growth. So I've actually had to like enforce a rule of like, we don't battle, we don't call people out. And we remain as respectful as possible. And of course, just like come to have fun and just don't take yourself too seriously. Don't worry about it. Make a mistake a couple of times, all good. But we have some killers here, so and the other thing as well, just like sticking to the rules, make sure that we keep the space fair for everyone to keep passing the mic. A couple of rules, couple of things, not too much.
Cool. I think all of these ingredients have truly been a perfect storm for. Like, I guess I haven't been exposed to a whole lot of cipher open mic nights, but when it comes to being able to grow and embrace something that is really hip-hop, the dojo it just ticks all the boxes for me. It's there for everyone. It's there for growth. It's there for creativity. It's there for fun and enjoyment. It's there to like connect with the community. And big ups to you for doing such a good job on all of it and holding it down every single time, like getting people down. Like people follow you, man. And I just want you to know that people fucking love the dojo, and big ups to you for doing it.
I appreciate that, bro. Thank you.
Cool.
I'm gonna keep doing it and make sure that even if I walk away, that Melbourne will always have an open mic night like this, so people can grow and
cool.
their art.
Awesome. So people can find the dojo on Instagram, right? And they can find you, Mono the Messenger, on Instagram as well.
Yeah, you can also find the dojo on Facebook.
Yeah. Cool, for all the events and everything to kind of keep up to date with it.
Yeah, that's right. And we do this every fortnight. So
fortnight and on Wednesdays.
Yeah, building a momentum. Yeah.
Cool. Big ups, Mono. I appreciate you coming on board.
Yeah, thank you
for the
much,
for this episode of the Vibe podcast.
100%.
It's time for some poetry.
Yeah, let's enjoy some.
Catch you on the other side.